Hello everyone, this is Rick. Welcome to an episode on Emperor Kanishk. He was one of the most powerful figures in ancient India and the leading emperor of the Kushana dynasty. In our last video, we have already discussed an overview of Kushan dynasty. By being the most important ruler of the Kushan dynasty, Kanishk deserves to be discussed in a separate video. So, without doing any delay, let's get into details. Now, dates of Kanishk. There are several controversies regarding the time when Kanishk ascended the throne. There are controversial dates. Historians debate the date of Kanishk's accession with conflicting views about whether he started his reign in 78 AD or later. Scholars like Ramesh Chandra Majumdar and A.L. Besam place his reign around this period. So scholars like R.C. Majumdar and A.L. Besam has placed the reign of Kanishka to be starting from the year 78 AD, or sometimes in some other controversies it has been said that he started his reign from much later than 78 AD, but roughly the sources give us the date of 78 AD as the time when Kanishk ascended the throne of Kushan dynasty. The Chinese sources, including the records translated by An Xiaokao, suggest that Kanishk era began around 78 AD, corroborated by several Chinese historical documents. So there are several Chinese historical documents and few of them have been translated. All these Chinese documents also give the date to be around 78 AD when Emperor Kanishk ascended the throne. Now, Shaka era. Kanishk is associated with the founding of the Shaka era in 78 AD, used extensively in Indian historical records. So, all the historical records after Kanishk has been uses the dating system called the Shaka era dating, and this Shaka era is associated with Kanishk and it seems to have been begun from 78 AD. Numerous Kushan inscriptions, including those at Mathura and other sites, provide dates that align with Kanishk ascension around this time. So there are different other inscriptions also, especially in places like Mathura and other Kushana sites, and all these inscriptions also indicate to the fact that Kanishk ascended the throne of Kushan dynasty in around 78 AD. Now there are diverse opinions among scholars such as Sten Kano, who suggests that the Kanishk era and the Shaka era may be contemporaneous, further complicate the dating. So there are few scholars who suggest that Kanishk era should not be associated as the beginning of Shaka era, but it was contemporary to that of the Shaka era. Now that confuses the dating even further, but for now about the sources we have got in hand, we can conclude that 78 AD is the time when Kanishk ascended the throne of Kushan dynasty. Now, scholarly views and other sources. What are the scholarly views regarding Kanishk and what are the other sources of history? R.C. Majumdar's analysis argue against the traditional date of 78 AD, proposing instead a later date based on his interpretations of various inscriptions. So later on, R.C. Majumdar suggested that the date of 78 AD may not have been correct, and this suggestion was on the basis of interpretations he made of various Kushana inscriptions. Ferguson's view. Ferguson and other historians like Oldenburg and Thomas support the 78 AD date, emphasizing the alignment with Shaka era. So, other scholars like Oldenburg and Thomas and Ferguson also emphasize that 78 AD was the correct date when Kanishk ascended the throne. Inscriptions at Taxila. Inscriptions discovered at Taxila, including those of Kanishka's successors, reinforce the date of 78 AD due to their chronological placements. So, inscriptions, when arranged in a chronological basis, give the date of 78 AD, especially the inscriptions at Taxila, which is from the time of Emperor Kanishka. Archaeological findings such as coins and relics found in Beargram and other sites support the early 2nd century date for Kanishk Rin. So other archaeological evidences are there which provides a fact against the traditional date of 78 AD, and they say that early 2nd century date can be assigned to Kanishka's reign. Now, comparison with Gupta period. The transition from Kushana to Gupta rule provides a chronological framework indicating that Kanishka's reign fits within 1st to 2nd centuries AD. So, roughly, it can be said that there is no doubt Kanishka's reign fits within 1st to 2nd century AD. Now, conquest of Emperor Kanishk. How much territory did he conquer and what were they? Conquest in Central Asia. As we know that Kushans came from the Central Asia or from the western part of Tibet and entered into India. So before entering India, they were based on Central Asia. Now Kanishk expanded his empire significantly into Central Asia, including regions like Bactria and Parthia, asserting Kushan dominance. So places like Bactria and Parthia and also other significant places in the Central Asian continent were under the Kushan dominance. Victories over Parthians and Chinese. His military campaigns included significant victories over Parthians and interactions with Chinese, enhancing his empire's prestige. So he conquered the Parthians and had quite a satisfactory level of engagement. It may have been military or diplomatic, but there was interaction with the Chinese, and thus there was an enhancement in the prestige of Kushan Empire. Now, war with Western Kshatrabs. Western Kshatrabs, the earlier Shaka rulers, were displaced by the Kushanas. So, even though they were displaced, they were in quite prominence and contemporaneous to the Kushana rulers. Kanishka's conflict with the Western Kshatrabs, notably Chastana, solidified his control over regions in Gujarat and Malwa. So, Gujarat and Malwa were governed by the Western Kshatrabs, and one of the most famous Western Kshatrabs leaders during those time was Chastana. And Kanishka had quite a significant amount of military conflict with Chastana, and Kanishka in return got control over the regions in Gujarat and Malwa. The conquest and subsequent incorporation of Kashmir into his empire, as recorded by historians like Smith, demonstrate his strategic prowess. So he not only conquered the southwards but also went northwards and incorporated Kashmir into his empire, and that can be seen as a form of strategic prowess. Battle of Khotan. Kanishk war extended to Khotan, where he clashed with local rulers and expanded his influence into the Tarim Basin. So Tarim Basin was a place where were rulers of different local tribes, and he had wars with them in Khotan, and there Kanishk had significant influence into the Tarim Basin, had made significant influence into the Tarim Basin. Now, other conflicts. What were the other conflicts that Kanishk had during his reign? Conflict with Shakas. Kanishk defeated the Shakas, establishing his rule over their territories, which was significant achievement recorded in various inscriptions. So, if we go through the sources of inscriptions, it can be seen that Kanishk quite prominently and decisively defeated the Shakas, and he established his rule over their territories, means territories of the Shakas, and that was a very significant achievement. His campaigns in India included battles against local rulers in regions like Sindh and Punjab, consolidating the Kushan power. So he also had battles against local rulers in regions which is the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent, that is Sindh and Punjab, and thus he consolidated the power of Kushan dynasty. Accounts from historians like Rai Chaudhary, which is H.C. Rai Chaudhary, and Thomas provide detailed descriptions of his military strategies and conquest. So there are historians like H.C. Rai Chaudhary and Thomas who provide detailed insights into his military campaigns and war strategies. Victory over Pan Chao. The Chinese general Pan Chao was defeated, securing Kanishka's hold over trade routes and reinforcing his military dominance. So there was this Chinese general whose name was Pan Chao, and he also had an epic battle with Kanishk where Pan Chao was decisively defeated, and thus Kanishk secured the trade routes to Central Asia, and also he reasserted his military prowess. The numerous coins and inscriptions from his reign found in places like Gandhar and Mathura offer subsequent evidence of his extensive military campaigns. So, from the coins and inscriptions, we get to know a lot about his military conflicts with other rulers in Central Asia and also inside the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. Now, Peshawar. Peshawar was a city established by Kanishk, and it was also made to be the capital of his empire. Capital establishment. Kanishk established Peshawar, which was by that time known as Purushapur. Purushapur is the early name of Peshawar as his capital, which became a major center of trade and culture. So, this city was totally founded by Kanishk, and his its earlier name was Purushapur, and this was made to be his capital. This city became a major market of the Kushana Empire. Peshawar featured monumental architecture, including a stupa reputedly built by Kanishk that was considered a wonder of the ancient world. So, this stupa had monumental architectural features in it, and in those times it was considered to be a wonder of the ancient world. So, that was how Kanishk was not only a great conqueror but also a significant contributor to art and architecture. The city was governed by Mahashatrapa Khara Palanna and Shatrapa Vanaspara, indicating a well organized administrative system. So there was a Mahashatrapa, and under him there was a Shatrapa, which can be considered to be the system of governor and deputy governor, or chancellor and vice chancellor, or prime minister and deputy prime minister. Like that kind of system was there in the state, in the city of Peshawar, and that indicates a well organized administrative system. The Sarnath inscription mentioned Kanishka's governance style and his establishment of a Satrapal system. So there was a Satrapal system which was very efficient to maintain the civil administration of a city. The Peshawar's role as a cultural and political hub during Kanishka's reign is highlighted by its numerous Buddhist monasteries and public buildings. So, Peshawar was not only a mere capital, but it had a significant amount of role to play in the cultural and political sphere of Kanishka's reign, and that can be highlighted by the numerous important buildings and Buddhist monasteries found in the site. Kanishka's Buddhism, one of the most significant contribution of Emperor Kanishka was towards the ideology or religion of Buddhism. Buddhism promotion. Kanishk reign marked a significant promotion of Buddhism with the establishment of numerous monasteries and stupas. So Kanishk promoted and patronized Buddhism in such a way that he established numerous monasteries for monks and also a large number of stupas. After the time of Emperor Ashok, this was the next phase of Buddhism where it evolved to be a world religion. Fourth Buddhist Council. He convened this council and it was presided by scholars like Vasumitra and Ashwaghosa, which played a crucial role in the development of Mahayana Buddhism. So, Buddhism has numerous sects in it, and the most important among them can be considered to be the Mahayana sect of Buddhism. This was originated in the Fourth Buddhist Council, and this council was presided by reputed scholars like Vasumitra and Ashwaghosa, and they played a crucial role in the development of Buddhism in general, especially the Mahayana sect of Buddhism. The council produced the Mahavivasa Sutra, a comprehensive commentary on Buddhist teachings reflecting the intellectual vigor of his court. So, a comprehensive commentary of Buddhist teachings was made in this council, and that reflected how intellectually well organized his court members were. Kanishk patronage extended to Buddhist art, particularly in the Gandhara and Mathura schools, which flourished under his rule. So, under his rule, there was Gandhara form of art and also Mathura school of art. These were two distinct schools of art in Indian sphere of art and culture, which flourished both under Kanishka's rule. Historical records indicate that Kanishk converted to Buddhism later in his life, promoting the religion extensively throughout his empire. So, just like Ashok, Kanishk was also pledged on promoting Buddhism throughout his empire, and he made the royal resources invested on that motive. Now, religious tolerance. We have learned how Kanishk was inclined towards Buddhism, but that does not mean that he did not tolerate any other form of religion. The fact was that he was tolerant of all ideological views despite having personal affection towards Buddhism. Despite his Buddhist inclinations, Kanishka maintained a policy of religious tolerance, accommodating various faiths within his empire. So, various kinds of ideologies had place within his empire, and that can be seen from the inscriptions and from the coins of those periods. He sent Buddhist missionaries to regions like China, Central Asia, Tibet, spreading Buddhist teachings far and wide. So, he not only spread Buddhism in the Indian subcontinent but also went as far as China and Central Asia and also Tibet. Tibet is nowadays a popular place of Buddhism, and that happened because of the influence of Kanishk in around 1st century CE. So he spread Buddhist teachings far and wide. Scholars such as Nagarjuna and Ashwaghosa were prominent figures at his court, contributing significantly to Buddhist philosophy and literature. So not only did he spread Buddhism, but he increased the intellectual depth of Buddhist philosophy and literature by supporting scholars like Nagarjuna and Ashwaghosa, who were prominent Buddhist figures in those times. The creation of Buddhist sculptures and carvings during his reign, particularly in Gandhar, reflects the deep integration of Buddhism into the cultural fabric of his empire. So this was the time when different carvings of Lord Buddha was made, and it also had a mix type of features like Greek and Indian features. So this was a typical type of art which was implemented at the time of Kanishk, especially in Gandhar, which is in current day northern Afghanistan. Kanishk's support for syncretic religious practices blending local traditions with Buddhism is evident in the diverse religious artifacts from his time. So, even though he was a supporter of Buddhism, he had quite liberal views towards all kinds of traditional cultures, and therefore it is evident that a diverse religious artifact of his time show that there was an inclusion of local practices into the methodology of Buddhism. Cultural achievements. What was the cultural achievement of Emperor Kanishk? Literary contributions. Kanishk court was a hub of literary activity with scholars like Ashvaghosha producing works such as Buddha Charita and Sutra Lankara. So these were significant Buddhist texts and also very important texts in Indian literary sphere as a whole, which were produced during the reign of Kanishk, and he was very much fond of literature and arts. The court also witnessed scientific advancements with figures like Nagarjuna contributing to early theories of relativity. So it was not only that he invested all his resources in art, but he also invested his royal resources in the scientific research techniques, and that is how we get an early form of theories of relativity by important sages or monks like Nagarjuna. Kanishk patronage extended to cultural activities promoting a rich blend of Greek, Persian, and Indian artistic tradition. So he supported and invested his royal resources in promoting and extending cultural activities, and also during his time we see a blend of Greek, Persian, and Indian artistic traditions. His reign saw the construction of impressive architectural structures, including stupas, monasteries, and public buildings across his empire. So, during his time, we find a large number of stupas with very impressive architectural features being built, and so were the monasteries and other public buildings across his empire. Kanishk established educational centers that attracted scholars from various parts of the world, fostering an environment of intellectual growth. So, this was the time when different scholars came to India from various parts of the world, and therefore we get India to be the center of educational hub of the world. Patron of art and learning. How was Kanishk invested in art and learning? Gandhara art. The Gandhara school of art, characterized by its Greco Buddhist style, flourished under Kanishk patronage, producing numerous sculptures and reliefs. So, it was during this time that Greek or Hellenistic art blended with the Buddhist and or Indian style of art and produced a separate school of art called Gandhara School of Art, which is distinct by its Greco Buddhist style. And this was totally supported by Emperor Kanishk, and as a result, we get numerous sculptures and reliefs from this period. Mathura School of Art. Mathura School of Art, known for its distinct Indian style, also received significant support, leading to creation of many iconic Buddhist statues. So Mathura School of Art was almost totally Indian style of art form, and they also received quite a significant amount of support from Emperor Kanishk, which led to the creation of many iconic Buddhist statues. Ashvaghosha's influence. He was a prominent poet and a philosopher and was the key figure at Kanishka's court, influencing Buddhist literature and thought. So, Ashvaghosha was one of the main evolutionary figures in Buddhism who contributed a lot to the spread of Buddhist culture throughout the world, and also played a significant part in the development of Indian culture as a whole. And he used to reside in Kanishka's court. Charaka's medical text. Charaka, another luminary at court, authored important medical texts contributing to the advancement of Ayurvedic medicine. So, Ayurvedic medicine also received a boost during these times under notable scholars like Charak, who contributed a lot to ancient medical science. Kanishk reign was marked by high degree of cultural integration, blending artistic and intellectual traditions from different regions into a cohesive cultural milieu. Now, death of Kanishk. How did his reign end? According to M. Sylvain Levy, Kanishk's death is surrounded by legends, including a tale where he was advised by his minister Mathura to consolidate his power, leading to a final ambitious campaign. So, according to legends or stories, there was a minister called Mathura who told him or advised him to consolidate his power, and therefore he had to go on a final, very ambitious campaign. Historical accounts. What does the historical sources say? It says that Kanishk died in the later years of his reign around 144 AD, although exact details remain unclear. So, Kanishk is said to have died around 144 AD, but the details regarding how did he die, where did he die, when did he die, all these things are very much unclear. The minister Mathura, known for his intelligence and strategic acumen, played a significant role in Kanishk's final years and eventual downfall. So, this was a minister who was very intelligent and ambitious. He played a significant role in Kanishk reign, especially during the final years, which led to the eventual downfall of Kushan dynasty. Kanishk date led to a succession issue with his son Hubisca succeeded him, marking the beginning of a gradual decline in Kushan power. So the immediate successor of Kanishk was Hubisca, and he was the son of Kanishk. From this time onwards, the power of Kushan dynasty went on a decline. Despite uncertainties surrounding his death, Kanishk reign left a lasting impact on cultural and political landscape of ancient India, influencing subsequent generations. Now we will go through an overview of the entire presentation. Kanishk is regarded as one of the greatest king of ancient India, known for his military prowess and extensive empire building. His empire stretched from Central Asia to Indian subcontinent, surpassing the boundaries of any previous Indo-Asiatic kingdom. Kanishk reign saw the flourishing of arts and learning. He collected a large number of learned individuals at his court, including notable scholars and artists. His patronage led to significant developments in the Gandhara and Mathura school of art. Despite being a devout Buddhist, Kanishk maintained a policy of religious tolerance, allowing various faiths to coexist. His support for the Fourth Buddhist Council and the spread of Mahayana Buddhism had a profound and lasting impact on Buddhist practices and teachings. Historians like Baldev Kumar highlight Kanishk's importance as a ruler who not only expanded his empire through successful wars but also promoted religious and cultural advancements. He hosted scholars like Asvaghosha and Charak, contributing to intellectual richness of his time. Kanishk is often compared to Emperor Ashok for his patronage of Buddhism and contributions to art and architecture. However, like Ashok, who followed the Hinayana form of Buddhism, Kanishk is associated with the Mahayana tradition. This distinction, along with his significant military conquest, establishes Kanishk as an unique and pivotal figure in Indian history. So that was all about Emperor Kanishk. Hope you have liked the video. Please support me so that I can bring brighter contents in future. In this channel, I bring contents regarding Indian history, especially ancient Indian history, in great detail so that it can help you a lot in your exams and also if you are generally interested in history. So please support me so that I can bring good contents in future. Thank you so much for your love and support.